Welcome to Live in Gratitude Daily on Global Voice Radio, a show which inspires, motivates, and transforms through sharing real-life stories of gratitude. Here is your host, Denise Joy. I want to welcome everyone to another episode of Live in Gratitude Daily on Global Voice Radio. I'm Denise Joy Thompson, your host, and with me today, my guest is Nancy Becher. Nancy is the founder and CEO of Business Success Unlimited, and Nancy is also a host on Global Voice Radio, and her show is titled, Don't Wait Till Pigs Fly. So Nancy, thank you very much for joining me, being a guest on my show, and talking about one of my favorite topics, something that is very near and dear to my heart, and that is the concept and topic of gratitude.
Thank you for asking me. I mean, that's a really big thing that I've been focused on a lot lately, so I'm happy to be able to talk about it.
Great. Well, you know, the show, Live in Gratitude Daily, is based on a compilation of over 100 authors, and we provided 365 days of gratitude, motivations, inspiration to help people as they're going through the journey to actually create a Live in Gratitude Daily lifestyle. And one of the things that was so interesting when I was researching and putting together the concept of the book is the research shows that more than any other concept, gratitude is truly the foundation for abundance, joy, and love. That without gratitude, we truly can't achieve or receive the things that we really want in life and the things that most humans thrive from when we have them. So now you mentioned that gratitude is something that you've been focusing on, thinking about more in your life recently. So can we talk a little bit about that?
Sure. You may know, but I'm sure your listeners don't, that I've had a very kind of rough road over the past several years. My husband and I moved back to the Midwest about 10 years ago to take care of my aging parents, and I've lived with them over the last 6 years and saw them go downhill more quickly, than I wanted, and they've now just recently both passed away. And in the process of all of that, I was in a very serious car accident and am now disabled. And gratitude didn't really have a whole heck of a lot to do with it for a while there, and I got to the point where I was angry and bitter, and it was just, I hated getting up and getting out every day. And one day I just said, I don't want to live that way any longer. I don't like this. And I made an attempt, and now it's just absolutely a part of my life, that I would at least find one thing every day to say thank you. And I know we all have different beliefs, but I very much believe for myself in God and in that whole realm. And so I would say a prayer every day, and I would just like today, I am just so happy and thankful because we've gone through 3 weeks of nothing but rain and thunderstorms. And while I was grateful for that because we planted my garden and all my flowers and bushes are growing, but the sun's shining today and it's absolutely beautiful. And I am so thankful for that. And when you have that sense of gratitude, everything is more positive. The world opens up to you. And as a consequence, my business is growing by leaps and bounds. And so much that I can't even imagine. And I say most of it is because I'm thankful for God for helping me. You know?
Well, and you shared so many important concepts or components of gratitude. You know, there are things that happen to all of us. There are terrible tragedies and there's traumas, there's disappointments, and that is a part of life that those things happen. And oftentimes we have a tendency to stay in the negative emotions and perceptions of that, which that initial reaction can be expected. But when we, start to live there, then other things fall apart in our life. So it's acknowledging what has happened that we rather would not have had happen. And then it is, like you said, finding one thing a day that we can be thankful for. Because once we find that one thing and we get used to it, we start finding other things.
Absolutely.
And, you also mentioned that as you started to deliberately focus on creating this new habit of gratitude, you then saw other things that were positive come into your life. And I truly believe that, and the research shows, the gratitude that we create within ourselves, it sends out that energy, that vibration to God's spirit universe, so those positive things can come in. And we then can embrace them instead. If God's spirit universe is trying to send us something and we have this negative persona, we've built this negative barrier, it just repels things that are positive. So, and you touched on those things that we realize. And, when you look at your background, we have some similarities in our background. We have some mental health in our background. We have coaching in our background. We have business coaching in our background. And we as individuals, even with all of our knowledge, we can get caught up in the negativity.
Oh, yeah.
Because that's part of being human. And so it's recognizing that and then, okay, how do I reframe this? How do I move forward? How do I have a different perspective? And it's creating a new habit and being thankful, being appreciative. And, that is, in some ways, as simple as it can sound. Sometimes it's difficult to change habits, but it doesn't cost anything. It is a thought. It is a thank you to somebody. It is a acknowledgement of something we have in our life. The fact you and I were talking earlier about technology and how grateful we can be for technology. And then there's those moments when it doesn't work. And then we sort of grumble about it, right? And then we're like, oh, wait a minute, it's not the end of the world. We can reschedule an appointment. We can, wait a few minutes and it might work, and be grateful for what we have.
Yeah. Well, and another whole aspect on that too, that I look at and have seen being a business owner. Oh, excuse me. I have noticed that, and I'm sure this is for people in general, but I know for me as a business owner, when I was walking around all depressed and sad, you'd go into a meeting and nobody's wanting to work with you when you're like that. They don't want to be brought down. But yet, if you go into a meeting, if you go to talk to people, if just being out and around and you're going, oh, it's a wonderful day, things are fantastic, and you have that positivity and you have that sense of being grateful for just being alive, the people around you feel that too. And then they're more apt to do business with you from the standpoint if you're talking to them about business, and so it's just, everything in your life is so much better when you are able to look at it with a smile.
Right. And they also talk about smiling and laughing are contagious. So if you need to diffuse a situation, if you need to create more positivity, it's if you smile at someone, if you, laugh, not necessarily at the bad jokes per se, things that are not necessarily real humorous, but that causes other people to also then, be a little bit happier, be a little bit more positive. And so, to our listeners, that's something to think about. As you go about your day, how much are you smiling? And what is the reaction that you're getting? In our Facebook group, Live in Gratitude Daily, one of the things that I had talked about is how are we interacting with everyone that we meet? And one of the things I mentioned is when I'm at a restaurant, when I'm at the grocery store, I try to mention the person's name who is assisting me.
Yeah.
So if they have their name tag on, that's a very simple thing to do. And so I say their name and I smile at them, I thank them. And especially in restaurants, what is the name of the waiter or waitress? And then when you treat them as a human being, right, not just a server, and you acknowledge their name and you say thank you, they light up. And, sometimes when we go into a conversation, right, then I'll, because they feel a warmth, they feel an acceptance, they feel gratitude, and they're seen as a person. And yes, walking into a meeting, walking into a store, coming home from work, or someone else is coming home from work, how are you greeting the people that are walking into your house?
Well, one of the things that I don't think we take a lot of time to think about, and I know this because my husband is the chief of asset protection at a very large retail box store in my community. And there are, 30 people that are clerks and registers, and we, as somebody who's going through the checkout to buy something, we're in a hurry, we're rushing, and you're going, oh, come on, because they may, the roll of tape may get stuck or whatever. And we're just, come on. We don't know what's going on in that person's life that day. We don't have an idea of what they're dealing with. And if you can just take the time to take a deep breath and say, it's not going to cause me too much grief if I am 5 minutes late to my next wherever. Say, it's okay, just take your time, and you just smile and you encourage them. That's going to make their life that much better too. So it's not just about us. It's about what's out there in the world for us all. And I think that if we can be kinder to ourselves and to everybody around us, that the world's going to be a better place. And that's so simple. It is. It's a smile. It's acknowledging someone, it's just... And we live in a beautiful world. And if we could just be more appreciative and more grateful for all of the things that we've been given, we're going to have much better lives.
Right. And in talking to individuals about gratitude and having my own gratitude journey, somehow humans seem to have been taught to always see the negative, to see the glass half empty, and that's one of the most common cliches. And I actually teach, when I'm talking about the glass, when I'm talking about gratitude, I teach the glass is always full, no matter if we can see anything in it, because a glass always has air.
Yeah.
And without air, we cannot survive. So whether it's half full with a liquid and the other half is air, whether it's empty but there's still air, so it just totally changes the perception of what do we still experience or what do we still have, even if there's nothing tangible.
I love that. That's a great concept.
So it is being thankful, grateful for the fact that we're living. And I know every human being is living with different things. You mentioned, you had a car accident and you were disabled, and I know that you're still dealing with the effects of that. And so it's acknowledging those things, and being in the military, I have friends who definitely are living with the effects of being deployed and being in war. And despite those things, and yes, there's good days and bad days, several of them, many of them are living very productive, fulfilling, happy lives. But it's a mindset. It's a reframe. And, one of the things that I have talked about before, and it's sort of a silly exercise, and I really like it. I think it's a great idea, is thanking the objects in our house. And it can be silly, but what about our refrigerator?
Yeah.
I've been deployed. I've been without, things that we're used to in the United States and other developed countries. So it's thanking your refrigerator, thanking your favorite chair, thanking your car. It's the things that we take for granted if we turn that into gratitude.
Yep.
And so I actually had individuals on a call do that. That was their exercise, right? And they thought it was really funny, but then they realized how we take things for granted. Another exercise is paying bills. As you write that check or you type it in the credit card, thank the fact that you're able to write the check, to pay that bill, because what? You're paying for electricity, you're paying for the internet, you're paying for your car. So
absolutely.
We can be grateful that we're able to do that.
Yeah, good example of that is because I don't drive much on my own anymore, my car sits out in the driveway and never gets going. And we're getting ready to go on a vacation, and we were going to take my car, and we went out to get it checked over, and I forgot to renew the license and the registration and everything on my birthday 2 months ago. And I am now just so grateful that we didn't get on the road without getting the new license plates. I'm grateful that, I do have the car if I need it for something. And but most of the time it's just sitting out there in my driveway and I don't even think anything about it. So absolutely, we do take so much for granted, and we have so much to take for granted that we need to be thankful for. It's really an interesting concept that I don't think people spend nearly enough time acknowledging.
Well, we've gone into such a hurry, at least in the developed countries. We're hurrying everywhere, and we're involved in so many things, and our children are involved in so many things. I don't have children myself, and so I didn't grow up, into a mature adult, having children, going to all these events and the social activities. And I see families today, and I'm like, I don't know how they do it. And I have to get myself ready and make myself get to appointments on time, and it's just me. How do you juggle a business and work, and your children have several are in all these different activities? And so my heart really goes out to, and even on planes, right? I'm amazed at my niece is traveling with 2 children in a few weeks, and I'm like, I have to get myself on a plane, let alone 2 children and a car seat and all that other stuff. But sometimes we just get so busy and caught up, and sometimes it's taking that step back and thinking, what is the most important things to have in our life, to be grateful for, and do we actually have to do more to be happier? Or can we take a step back and be grateful, or possibly less, and be even more happy?
I think that's true. We have so much. And I think the things that we really need to be thankful for are health in whatever My dad used to say, "Hey, I'm on the right side of the ground," when someone would ask him, how he was doing. I'm thankful that I may have a lot of aches and pains and problems. I'm still up. I'm talking to you. I'm running a business, and I am so thankful for my husband who is there to support me, to take care of me. He's got a wonderful job, so we have money to pay the bills, and I don't really need a whole lot more than that. I've got some place to stay out of the rain. I've got food in my belly, and I don't need 10 televisions and a Rolls Royce. And, I've got what I need, and I need to be thankful for it. And just getting that much more doesn't mean I'm that much more thankful.
Right. And, the other thing that I want to say, to also caveat, sometimes maybe doing less, I also believe that all of us can have what we desire, have what we want. Now, sometimes it's not clear. And so sometimes we go searching for a lot of things to maybe fill a void. But, as a business owner myself, and so are you, and you and I work with a lot of other business owners, all of us can achieve success, and all of us can be wealthy. Yeah. And I truly believe when we work and we're grateful for the work we're able to do, and we help other people to be grateful for what they have, and wealth comes into our lives, we're just able to help more people to be successful and to be wealthy. And so, and I know sometimes people will talk about, well, do we have to have a very simple life and not have a lot of money and not want to achieve success? And that's like, no, there is so much in our world. When we are in a mindset of gratitude, when we are open to receiving, and then in some ways when we know what to do when we receive, we're just able to give more back. Yeah. So to me, I see wealth and gratitude as being very compatible. And sometimes people will maybe like, well, if we're really being grateful, then maybe we don't want wealth, or we don't want this success. And I see them going very well together and actually being happier.
Yeah. I do too. And that's not what I meant to say, is that, but I think that if we're focused on, I've got to have this, I'm not going to be happy unless I have X, Y, and Z, that's, if you're looking for more and more and more, then that's not going to get you what you really want. But if you're open to saying, I have this, I am so thankful, I don't need anything more than this, then that's when you do open yourself. And for me, my biggest gratitude, thankfulness, and happiness is when I am able to help other people. I love when I'm talking to one of my clients and I literally see the light bulb going off over their head and they go, oh, I get it. Or somebody calls me and says, I just made this fantastic sale, and and it's all because of you. I said, no, it's not because of me. It's because of the work you've done. But that's when I am the most grateful, is when I see other people being able to take something and grow from that.
Right. And I totally agree with that concept. And I think if we look at most of the individuals who have succeeded, they talk about gratitude. I mean, what immediately comes to mind is Oprah. And everything that she has had to deal with in her life, and how hard she worked, and how important gratitude is for her. And that was part of her journey, right? I mean, all of us have a journey in regards to understanding the concept of gratitude and then having it in our life. And that doesn't mean that every single moment, right? Because we're human beings. We have a variety and a continuum of emotions. But if we can build a strong foundation so that, that 70 to 80% of our time, our mindset is one of gratitude, then life is going to be so much better. And I know that you and I and many others have seen individuals who, in regards to tangible items, don't have very much.
Yeah.
But then they're grateful. I mean, we've seen missionaries. We've seen, Mother Teresa, right? She didn't have a lot of tangible possessions, but look at her life. So, and there's some individual that we will not ever be.
Yeah.
And we may not be able to give up all of the tangible items to have a life of some of the people who have so much gratitude and have definitely done so much for others. And so I think each one of us can, in our own way, when we learn about the power of gratitude and when we reframe, when we create new habits, and when we have a live in gratitude daily lifestyle, that is when things begin to truly change in our life. And we do attract the energy and the vibration of like-minded individuals. I mean, even like you and I, right? I mean, there's certain individuals who are coming into my life and I am being allowed in theirs because we have some similarities. And because when they're so opposite in mindset, then the individuals, they don't fit. It's hard to do business with those individuals. It's hard to have a relationship with those individuals because the mindset, the energy and vibration is so different. And so it repels each other.
Absolutely. And in fact, I was just thinking about that this morning. I'm going through my Facebook groups and I'm cleaning out ones that I don't get involved with much. And I said, well, let me get into this one. And I decided to ask a question while I was in there. And I got 2 or 3 answers right away. And they were so helpful and so, it was so great to have these answers. And I was thankful that I got these wonderful answers. And then this person comes on and he's negative and he's, well, you can't do this and you can't do that. You can't. And I'm going, well, I guess this is one of the groups I don't need to have anymore, and I deleted the group because I don't need that in my life. And I really feel at this point in time for me that it's too easy to fall back into the negativity. And I need to keep that mindset of positivity and gratitude going. And I don't want to be involved with anyone or anything that brings that down.
Right. And there is so much research on the concept of positivity, which gratitude falls into, in regards to health and healing. So I agree. And, the last few years, if I'm seeing a Facebook friend that I might be acquaintances with, because most of my close friends on Facebook, they're like-minded to me. But some of them are very negative, and so it is sort of like, okay, that's just not what I want in my life. And, bringing things in that's going to enhance the journey that I am on now.
Yep.
The way I want to live, what I want to have, and it is okay if we're not compatible with everyone else. And I hope that people who see my posts, and I know once in a while we'll probably all like, oh, well, I don't like something happening in the world. And but most of the time, I hope that individuals feel motivated or inspired and want to be on a similar journey and want to be as grateful as they can be, which results in abundance, joy, and love.
Absolutely.
So, Nancy, thank you so much for being with me today. And I know that we could probably talk for another 2 or 3 hours.
Yeah, we could. we have a way of doing that, Denise.
And I want to thank all of our listeners for being with us. And for our listeners, if you've not had a chance to join the Live in Gratitude Daily Facebook group, please join us. We have Facebook Lives. We talk about gratitude. And I also hope all of our listeners have joined the Global Voice Radio Facebook group. So not only can you listen to all of the Live in Gratitude Daily shows, but listen to all of our hosts, including Nancy Becher and her show, Don't Wait Till Pigs Fly. And so Nancy, also, how can individuals get in contact with you directly?
Okay, they can send me an email at nancy@don'twaittillpigsfly.com, or they can find me on Facebook at BSU Pigs Fly.
Well, thank you all again for joining us today. Thank you, Nancy, for being my guest. And I hope everybody can develop and create a live in gratitude daily lifestyle. Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you for listening to Live in Gratitude Daily with Denise Joy. Join us every Sunday, 11 a.m. Eastern on Global Voice Radio.